This is the story of the Buttsecs War. The Buttsecs War was an international conflict that took place during June 2023 on CivMC between the Security Enhancement Coalition and the forces of Butternut County, later augmented by remnants of Gang Shi. It was the largest conflict on the server since the generic war, surpassing the devastation of military infrastructure and casualty counts of any prior war. The conflict sparked when SEC fighters Zolo 17 and Jamie Emie were pearled by Easy 2 Clutch when the manhunt for him was interrupted by Chosen Twice LOL. Skirmishes began to break out within Icenia as SEC and Butternut fighters vied for pearls. With the city in danger, the Icenians engaged their automated defenses. A horde of withers was released inside the city, a means to keep Butternut forces at bay. But on 8th June came a major SEC victory. Easy 2 Clutch was pearled by the Icenian Legiacris after falling into a vault-bastioned sand trap and failing to escape. The SEC leadership then made the decision to extradite Easy 2 Clutch's pearl to Estalia, which held grievances against him for his betrayal in the generic war. On June 8th, a ban wave swept across CivMC, with many Butternutters caught in it as a result of suspected association, a recently implemented rule intended to curb toxicity on the server. However, after a short period and pleas against the bans, a few of the bans were lifted. Former Gang Shi, Minister of Diplomacy, Fastest Grass, was soon approaching the end of his sentence following his capture in the That's Nuts war. Interested in an early release, Fastest Grass sought to cut a deal with the SEC to be granted an earlier release, with the condition that he retire to the nation of Mercutio. However, before negotiations were completed, Fastest Grass and Physics Gamer were illegally released by Cortesia Del Mar's Red Steel, a move that was met with ire by Icenia, who had pearled Physics Gamer following the Temporal Isles coup. The invasion of Whole Foods followed. With SEC blood in the water, former Gang Shi leaders and fighters returned to assist in the collapse of their enemies and began the construction of the Trader Joe's Sky Bridge to Whole Foods. During the disabling of Whole Foods, Chosen Twice LOL secured the Pearl of Complexii, who was trapped inside after logging in. Additionally, many other SEC fighters remained log-boxed at the complex. Haxor also griefed the Icenia city bunker, pearling Chris Crispy in the process. The coalition urged Icenians to turn themselves in for a reduced sentence and assured that any peaceful citizens would not be harmed. Any individuals seen wearing enchanted diamond or netherite armor, however, would be swiftly pearled. With Icenia under occupation, King Kupar of the Imperial Federation announced SECRA, the SEC Refugee Act, an initiative in partnership with the Blue Cross to provide refugee assistance to those fleeing the conflict. On 13th June, Gua stated that the war would not end with the fall of Icenia and that it was just the beginning of the campaign, with the rest of the Security Enhancement Coalition firmly within their crosshairs. On June 14th, Butternut attacked Cane Corp, Icenia. It was a small skirmish with inconclusive results. The next day, Butternut County renewed their assault. The SEC achieved a surprise victory, pearling Gua, after he fell into a fall trap and failed to escape with a pearl. After multiple skirmishes on 16th June, SEC forces began skybridging Nuthole, the Butternut Vault. As the skybridge approached Nuthole on 17th June, the Icarians Soggy Hobo and Dawson is Rainy both betrayed the SEC and defected to Butternut, assisting with their vault defense. A few hours after the beginning of intense resistance by Butternut defenders, SEC abandoned their bridge and attack bunker, which was disabled shortly afterwards. On June 17th, Butternut restarted their attack on Cane Corp, in which both sides each suffered a loss. Attacks persisted on June 18th, and after a series of short fights with the defense there, Slushy joined the defense and pearled Sloth in a suit in single combat. Continuing clashes resulted in Dreckamore being pearled by the Real Jewy, and in turn, the Real Jewy being pearled by Oxt, with assistance from Shadno. On June 19th, while defending the Cane Corp bunker alone, Villianzid was pearled by Soggy Hobo. Butternut County successfully captured Kane Corp on June 20th. Butternut and Gang Shi launched an offensive against the Bloom Vault with a sky bridge aimed at the sky bunker. SEC forces defended with a counter sky bridge, but failed to prevent Butternut and Gang Shi from advancing into the vault. Combat ensued inside the vault. At the start of the attack, 4 SEC fighters were pearled by Butternut forces. As the attack progressed, TNT minecarts blew up Shadno twice, along with Jaden and Oxt. Several Butternut fighters, led by Buttsecs, then jumped into the Sky Vault to attack Exios, HG-80, and Shadno. The JKH and Shady Sauce, initially there to spectate the fight, intervened due to their grievances with multiple fighters in Butternut and their resulting desire to assist SEC in winning the war. In the confusion, EP war reporters, including Watt, 7-77, also jumped into the fight following the other 5, assuming the EP as a whole had suddenly decided to intervene in the war. A few hours later, the Butternut forces regrouped and returned to Bloom Vault, where Buttsecs pearled Sympology, better known as Neotide, from fall damage after jumping off the sky bunker into the rings. With no remaining resistance, Butternut captured Bloom Vault and began disabling it on June 21st, although the SEC made unsuccessful attempts to retake the vault in the following days. On June 21st, Butternut forces partially disabled Icenia's work-in-progress Quagmire Vault and entered Icenia City afterwards. At the city, Shadno, with the help of the JKH, Santa, and Huge Poopy, pearled Carson and Buttsecs, the leader of Butternut County, a major SEC win following a long series of Icenian defeats since the fall of Kane Corp and Bloom Vault. Butternut forces used MTA as a center of operations to start an attack tunnel to begin to disable the Arsenio Pact's Reluctance Vault with sporadic SEC resistance. During this phase, admins banned most of the people involved on both sides of the war in order to pause it whilst investigating the suspected VPN user Polybit. Kingstel escaped Reluctance with the pearls of Physics Gamer and Carson, who were killed during the attack. After this, he jumped into Pavia's vault trench with the pearls and handed them over. On June 29th, Butternut forces successfully captured and disabled Reluctance. This was widely considered the final deciding factor of the war, with all operational SEC pearl holding structures having been taken by Butternut Gang Shi forces. At the end of the war, the SEC has dissolved, and many SEC inhabitants have moved to other countries.